Hey, ladies and gentlemen, happy Wednesday. It is September 14th now, 2 weeks roughly before October. Welcome to studentloanjustice.org. Whatever you want with your student loans, you came to the right place. We've been around for a long time. We've been trapped in this box, trying to segue from the song there. We've been trapped in this box for way too long. We don't have to take it. We're getting close, finally. If we play our cards right, ladies and gentlemen, we can have this problem solved certainly by the end of the year, maybe by November 8th, probably not by the time early voting begins in October. So let me back up for a minute. First of all, we're fighting for the return of bankruptcy rights to student loans. Now, if you're new to the group, you're probably saying to yourself, well, I don't want to file for bankruptcy. I get that. Doesn't matter. We are not going to see anything good and meaningful from the Department of Education, the unelected bureaucrats, from Joe Biden or anyone else on federal student loans, certainly, unless and until we get the leverage of bankruptcy returned to us as called for in the U.S. Constitution. So, a couple of announcements. We have a great bill to fight for, S-2598. We will be having a companion bill coming out in the House very soon. To that end, I'm not going to say much more than that, but to that end, we are seeking people to interview potentially for testimony. If you went to a trade school, if you're a senior citizen, or let's say a senior, which is pretty much a lot of people on this group, I think. If you live in the South, did I say if you went to a trade school? Yeah, if you do like a dirty job, we want to talk to you. Send me an email, Alan, ALAN, at studentloanjustice.org. Let me back up even one more time and say, first of all, please donate if you can, guys. I'm sorry to have to sort of lead with that, but if you would just please help. We don't need much, guys. We really don't, but we can't do it on nothing. So if you appreciate all the work that we're doing, we would not have this bill to fight for, but for this group. We would not be talking about student loan cancellation in this country, but for this group and the petition we started. I kid you not. If you have any questions or comments, throw them out. If I can see them on the live stream on Twitter or Facebook, I will happily respond to them. So tonight, guys, I want to talk about our opposition. Our opposition is small but strong. They've been around for a long time. It's kind of a conspiracy. Maybe you could say I'm not a conspiracy theory guy, but there's a lot of people who really love this predatory lending scam. And right now they are telling a whopping big lie. A big lie. And the lie that they're telling currently is that canceling student loans will somehow force the taxpayers to have to cough up money. That's a big lie, ladies and gentlemen. And, I went on Fox News a month or so ago, I guess 2 weeks ago or so, when Joe Biden announced his loan cancellation gimmick. It's kind of a gimmick. We're not impressed with Joe Biden's loan cancellation, but the guy on the other side just kept insisting that and it's not even impressive, but this nonsense $10,000 loan cancellation is going to cost the taxpayers $500 billion or even $1 trillion if you listen to the people at the Pennsylvania, the Wharton School of Business. That's all a lie, ladies and gentlemen. First of all, let me just say, when federal student loans were rolled out in 1965, President Lyndon Baines Johnson, LBJ, said, these loans will be free of interest. Today, over $100 billion in interest alone clicks off on our backs. That $1.6 trillion in outstanding federal student loan debt, nobody knows exactly, but my best estimate is something like 85 or 90% of that. It's monopoly money. It's profit. It's interest, fees, penalties, all baked into new loans, consolidation fees, rehabilitation fees, etc., etc., etc. It's not original unpaid principal. The people have been paying, and we have been paying through the nose. And if student loans were canceled, all federally owned student loans were canceled tomorrow, the taxpayer would be breaking about even. Like maybe they'd be short of 100 billion or so, somewhere in there is my best estimate, 100, maybe 150 billion. But look at PPP loans, ladies and gentlemen. Just look at any of the stimulus that we've seen in COVID. Look at any of the stimulus, the tax breaks, et cetera, that we saw during the subprime mortgage crisis. But sticking to PPP loans all added to the national debt. They all required money to be printed, i.e., money to be taken from the Treasury. This federal student loan portfolio is house money, guys. It's not even real. It's profit. You know, the loans can be canceled without taking one dime of money from the Treasury, without adding even a nickel to the national debt. So this is a lie, and it's a big lie. And you all should be standing up, and every time you hear somebody tell it, and people are telling it all the time now, turn on almost any news station, and you'll see either a talking head or a little thing blurb in the chyron below. Oh, Biden's student loan cancellation and it cost taxpayers $500 billion or $1 trillion. That's a big fucking lie. Pardon my French. But I'm getting really sick of it, guys. And I can only do so much. And I know I'm not the only guy that knows this. I know a lot of people on our group know this. And they are standing up with the truth. We need more people to be doing that. And I don't know what to tell you, but these are your loans that are on the hook here. We don't give two shits, pardon my French, about Biden's loan cancellation gimmick. I'm quite sure it'll come to almost nothing for almost everybody, as I have been saying for years, as long as the threat of bankruptcy remains gone. So, but that's not really the point. The point is all these people are seeding the zeitgeist with lies. And it's actually not that many people. It's probably like 50 people or less, maybe even like 30. I've counted 30 so far or so. But, you know, they have secret handshakes with the media. They get on all the shows. They can publish articles whenever they want. It's something that we have to fight against, guys, because we will be baffled and bamboozled and screwed out of anything good as long as we allow lies like this to persist. So I really hope that you'll take it upon yourself to join me and all the other people on our group who are standing up to the bullshit. And there are many of them, actually. Like Jackie, I know, and Joanna in Florida, I know, is doing a ton. And many, many, many other people. And I'm looking for your comments now, guys. I apologize. So while I'm looking for your comments, just remember this, guys. If you care, we need your help. We are the only fight in town. The other groups that were fighting for student loan cancellation, they're now irrelevant. And not that, in my opinion, they were never really relevant. They were never really very serious. This group is fighting the actual fight that's actually going to solve your problem. And so we need your help because this is a grassroots effort. And if you can't tell, it's not like we have $1 trillion gajillion dollars in funding and a staff and a marketing team and a, Washington, D.C. digs and all that nonsense. We don't have that. What we have are people. This is grassroots, guys. This is actual grassroots, not AstroTurf, not fake grassroots, not industry-funded, student loan industry-funded grassroots, student debt crisis. This is actual grassroots, guys. And the history of this country is such that nothing good has ever happened for the people unless the people fought for it. And that is very true with the student loan problem. Debt is a very pernicious and clever way to screw people because you keep them quiet. You keep them tiptoeing around on eggshells. You keep them discouraged. You keep them afraid. I'm telling you, you need to throw that off. You need to throw that in the gutter. It does nothing for you. And that's what our opposition wants. They want you to be afraid. They want you to be vulnerable. They want you to be desperate. They want you to be reading Forbes magazine, Yahoo Finance, and all the other nonsense garbage, Wall Street Journal, all the other garbage nonsense media out there. Well, here, I'm telling you the truth of the matter. And what I just said is just one example of one of the big lie right now that's being told, but there are dozens of lies. Very easy to stand up to this stuff. But unless and until you do it, we're going to continue to get screwed, ladies and gentlemen. I'm sorry to say that, and we've never been in a better position. Don't get me wrong. We've got a great bill to fight for. We've got a companion bill coming out at the end of the month. This could solve everything for us. And the most important thing, I've already said it once, but I'll say it one more time. We're not going to see anything meaningful until we get the threat of bankruptcy back. Whether you would ever or never file, it doesn't matter. I don't care whether you would or not, or it makes zero difference. What's important is that we get the threat of bankruptcy returned to us. Now, I know it doesn't feel great to run out and shake your fist and say, yeah, give us our bankruptcy rights. I know that's a very unnatural thing. It's a very sort of not something you want to do necessarily. But I'm telling you, this is actually the fight. And we need you in it. And you're not better than us. And we will lose if you don't help us fight. And these are your loans. This is your problem. This is your battle. And the battle is raging, whether you're in it or not. And if you're not in it, we're losing. So I know I don't know what's going on with Facebook sometimes. I just can't find my own live stream often. Okay, here we are. I think I can find it now. If you forget everything I said today, if you forget everything I say tonight, remember this, guys. Go to our website and do our daily action. Do our daily action every day. We do very clever, smart, well-targeted, very timely, and very hyper-appropriate, politically savvy, I guess, daily actions. They're quick. They probably take a minute or maybe 5 minutes at the most. Lately, they're getting a little more involved because things are getting way more serious right now. We need you doing these daily actions, guys. We just do. Frankly, I should just end this live stream right there because that's the most important thing that I'll say tonight. We need you doing these daily actions. We've got a huge muscle to flex, by the way. I know I sound all serious and I'm all, but guys, we've got a huge muscle to flex. We've got over 1 million people on our petition, on our group, on all our various platforms. But, that's meaningless unless everybody does something. And that's something that everybody can do. It's the most efficient, most effective use of your time is doing our daily actions. So, okay, I'm going to get right into the comments and then I'm going to wrap it up here, guys. I know hopefully you can do the daily actions while I'm talking here tonight. By the time I finish this live stream, you can do at least probably a couple, if not 3 days worth of the daily actions. You've got to have a Twitter account. Sorry about that, but that is what it is. Live stream. So, hey, Jackie, I hope your ears were burning, Jackie. I just mentioned you, not even knowing that you were here tonight. Jackie Braun says, true, I used to work in the write-off accounting department for the Department of Defense. It's just simple debt that is waved away. Their claim makes me so mad. Thank you, Jackie. And by the way, Jackie has been tearing it up lately on Twitter. I've been, frankly, astounded at all the stuff she's doing. Like right now, Republican governors, for example, and this is another thing, I probably should do a full live stream about this. Republican governors, of all people, are standing up and saying, no, don't cancel loans. We're going to sue you if you cancel loans. That's ridiculous. The governors of the states that are bitching about loan cancellation, their student loan debt exceeds the state budget of these governors' states. These governors' states are being wrecked by federal student loan debt. And here are these Republican governors, and by the way, we're a nonpartisan group. We pretty much hate both parties, but what the F is going on with these Republicans? I don't know. Here we have these Republican governors, like in the state of Texas, $141 billion hanging around the neck of people in Texas, federal and other student loan debt, mostly federal. And here's the governor of Texas saying, no, Mr. President, don't cancel these loans. I'm going to sue you if you try and cancel these loans. What the actual F? Same thing. Brian Kemp in Georgia, state budget of Georgia, $48 billion. The people of Georgia owe $81 billion. That's enough to buy every farm in Georgia and still have $20 billion to spare. But yet here's the governor of Georgia saying, no, Mr. President, don't cancel these loans. That's wrong. That's bad. It just blows my effing mind. And by the way, those governors are parroting another lie, which is that canceling student loans benefits the wealthy. That's another big lie. And by the way, if you want to see through the truth of all the lies that have been told against us in the past 6 months, go to studentloanjustice.medium.com and read our most recent 5 or 6 or maybe 8 articles. And you can see us cutting through all the lies with nothing more than the truth. Truth that is easily verifiable through nothing more than Department of Education data, by and large. And by the way, you can see us on Fox News. Like I said, this group's a little more of a big deal than you might think. You can see us on Fox News shredding one of the swamp creatures, bit.ly/SLJ Fox News, all lowercase, one word. It's not hard to do, guys. The battle's not hard to win. We just got to show up. Ask Jackie. She knows. And Jackie's been doing the daily actions like religiously. Martha, who's confined to a wheelchair, doing our daily actions. I could go on and on here, and Jackie says, I love daily actions. You know, the daily actions are fun. You learn a lot. You're fun. You're doing the right thing by yourself, by the country, and by tens or hundreds of millions of people who are going to follow in our footsteps and don't deserve to be wrecked by this ridiculous, catastrophically failed, unconstitutional, nonsensical debt trick, debt scam. I call it the student loan scam. I've been calling it that. In fact, I wrote a book. In fact, I wrote the first book about student loans being terrible, and it's called The Student Loan Scam. That book is more relevant today than the day I wrote it. So, hey, Doug Grossman's here from Indiana. S2598 is the only way to get where we need to be. You know, I totally agree, Doug. We've got to have the same bankruptcy protections on our side that every other borrower for every other type of loan in this country has. Pretty simple. Kind of a no-brainer. And by the way, speaking of Republicans, I do have some very good news. We've seen a lot of Republicans and conservatives in Congress and outside of Congress come around and publicly call for the return of bankruptcy protections to student loans over the past 2 months. So there are actually some principled conservatives out there, not part of the student loan swamp. It's kind of 2 sets of conservatives there. The swamp people, they're not conservatives. They're big government sycophants. They're just fakes. They're frauds. But then there's other people who, other conservatives who they understand the importance of bankruptcy. They understand why bankruptcy is so important on a systemic level, not so people could go get, free stuff and skate on their debt. No. But rather to keep a lender honest, to keep a lender behaving in good faith, to keep prices rational. You think all those things have gone off the cliff for student loans? Yeah, they have. Doug also says, please mention that group members should not fall for the servicers refinance scams that are being offered. How can they get away with that? This is getting way out of hand. There's so many different scams out there right now, but you're right. If you see SoFi and they're everywhere, they freaking spent $10 million to get naming rights on the football stadium in San Diego or north of San Diego or Los Angeles. Doug's right. Why would you want to refinance your loans out of the federal program right now? Why would you want to do that? Might have seemed like a smart thing to do a few years ago. Not looking so smart these days. Federal student loans can be canceled by executive order, as we've seen. And as we were the first group ever to call for publicly, by the way. Check out our petition, change.org/cancel student loans. But refinancing out of the public market into the private market, those loans, They're not cancelable by the president, certainly. And I hate to say it, but the bill that we're fighting for right now, S-2598, and its soon to be released companion bill, they do not offer bankruptcy for privately owned, wholly privately owned, guaranteed, insured loans. So private loans aren't great, guys. And the one thing I will say good about private loans is that they have statutes of limitations. That's a very important consumer protection that, by the way, was stripped from federal student loans. But yeah, guys, there's all kinds of scams out there. And, we don't give advice on this group, but just don't make any rash decisions. Don't believe what any salesman on the phone is trying to push you into. Don't believe lawyers like Josh Cohen. I don't know where that scoundrel makes his money, but if loans were actually canceled, people like Josh Cohen and other debt coaches and Dave Ramsey, who also is hawking private student loans, these people would be out of business. The last thing they want is student loan cancellation. They don't have your interest at heart. And by the way, loan rehabilitation is a terrible thing to do for almost everyone. Something like 75 or 80% of those loans wind up defaulting again. Don't do it. It is a cash cow for whoever's trying to sell you on those things. I in my humble opinion, nobody should ever rehabilitate their defaulted loans. That's just poison. The odds are overwhelmingly bad that you're going to wind up in default. And so what began as maybe a $25,000 loan, which you would rehabilitate at like $75,000, all of a sudden you're looking at a $200,000 monstrosity when that loan defaults again. It's just stupid. It's a scam. There's so many scams out there, guys. Also, consolidation, be very, very careful. I know a lot of people are pushing a lot of people to consolidate these days because of this public service loan forgiveness revised program, et cetera, et cetera. And I'm telling you guys, be very careful. I don't, as I said, I don't give advice, but I never saw much value in consolidating a loan. I mean, they round up the interest. There's new fees baked into that new consolidation loan. And, there are a lot of hidden tricks and traps with signing for a new note. This is a heinously corrupted, completely bad-faithed, untrustworthy federal student loan program. Like, it makes no sense, in my humble opinion, to legitimize yet another fucked up loan from the Department of Education and or its contractors with your signature. Anyways, and I hate to be the guy saying don't trust the government, but guys, I'm sure every other government agency does a swell job. Department of Defense and Agriculture, I'm sure they do bang up job. Department of Education is corrupted, guys. It just is. It's bad faith. They have no desire or intentions of actually canceling any loans, up to and including this Biden loan cancellation gimmick. We've been doing this for 17 and a half years, guys. And it's become more obvious and apparent with each passing year that we are dealing with a corrupted, unconstitutional lending scam. And in my humble opinion, well-studied opinion, it is not only unwise, but it's, in my view, unpatriotic to feed this beast with your money. This lending system's got to be taken to the bath and drowned in the tub, ladies and gentlemen. Regardless of what you think, most important thing that I'll say and repeat for the third time now, we are not going to see anything good happen unless and until we get the threat of bankruptcy back, which is why the next month is so freaking important. And whether or not you help us fight over the next month could well tell the tale. So this is very serious. These are your loans. This is your livelihood on the hook here. We have not had the opportunity we now are looking at for decades, not since 2008, and really not even then. We got screwed back then because we didn't know enough to see the tricks. We know enough now to see the tricks. And the biggest trick that our opposition would love to foist on us is a fake loan cancellation gimmick, kind of like what we just heard from President Biden, as a cheap substitute for the bankruptcy protections that should have never been taken away. It's the truest, most powerful, most important thing that I could possibly tell you about student loans. And if you're not in this fight, you're losing this fight for us. Don't be that guy. We need you in this fight. It feels good to fight. Talk to Jackie. Talk to Doug. Talk to Susan Goddard, who's with us tonight. Hey, Susan says, I'm so sick of all the bullshit. BS. She says, please make a post about how taxpayers already paid for their FFEL and direct loan program and how it's impossible to pay them back since government pockets the interest principal. I think I opened up tonight talking about that, Susan. You know, I talked about the big lie. And the big lie that's being told right now against us is that canceling student loans will cost the taxpayer. That's nonsense. It's a lie. The taxpayers have made a king's ransom on this predatory lending scam. And if you don't believe me, go to bit.ly/not losing, all one word lowercase, bit.ly/not losing. And you can see you can see our report, and you can look at the Department of Education data and White House budget data that report is based on, and you can come to your own conclusion as to whether the government is making or losing money on student loans. They're making money, and they're making a ton of it. Why do you think they're fighting so hard against loan cancellation? They love this con. They love this lending scam. You know, there are two ways to conquer and enslave a country. One is by the sword, the other is by debt. Those are the words of John Adams. Here's another prescient quote from, as I said, we're a nonpartisan group, guys, but this is just super interesting. These are Donald Trump's words in 2015, right before he ran for president, announced his run. He said, why is the government making money on student loans? Of all the places the government shouldn't be making money, you would think student loans would be it. He said something like that. I'm paraphrasing. So, guys, people know this con for what it is on the other side of the ledger. We don't have to fall for this shit. Be stronger than you are. Don't walk around with your tail in between your legs. That's stupid. It doesn't help you. It's what our opposition wants. We need you with us fighting, and at the minimum, you'll do our daily actions. So hey guys, I've been going for quite a while here. I could literally go for hours and hours at this point. It's getting fun. It's getting exciting. I hope that you guys are impressed with what we've gotten done up to this point. I hope you're really impressed and freaking encouraged by all that we are right now on the cusp, on the verge of getting done. We've never been closer, guys. Right now, we need your help for the next 8 weeks, maybe through the end of the year, maybe only until November 8th. It kind of depends on us because this stuff does not happen in a vacuum. And if you think you can sit there on the sidelines and wait and watch and worry and eat popcorn and cheerlead, you're fucking wrong. Pardon my French, but you're wrong. So get off your ass if you haven't. To everybody who has been getting off their ass, like everybody I just mentioned, you know I salute you. We're the pioneers on this. And it's amazing the stuff that I've seen individuals, one person at a time, get done. Anybody can get their local newspaper, their local radio station, or national news, I don't know, to do a story on this problem. We would love to talk to any and all reporters right now today. Give them our phone number, 202-594-1120. Give them my email address, justice, or actually Alan, ALAN, at studentloanjustice.org, or just justice at studentloanjustice.org. We are very, very happy to talk to any and all media. We don't care if they're left or right or what they are. We don't care. As I said, we're a fiercely nonpartisan group. So you have no idea how important you could be, guys. But at the same time, you are not better than us. So you can't sit there and, be the prom queen and not have to get your hands dirty. You've got to get your hands dirty with us. It's fun. It's fun to fight. We're winning. And I haven't been able to say that forever until just recently. So get with it, folks. This is the battle. This is it. I'll be back on Friday. Ed, our fearless co-leader, will be with you tomorrow. You know what to do, guys. All I can tell you at this point is good luck. Godspeed. I'll see you on Friday. God bless everyone.